Let's get to it, man. So I posted something on my Instagram story today, and it actually led to the topic of this call. And the quote that I posted was this: "How far you go in life is determined by what you choose to believe." So that's the first thing you can jot down in your notes tonight. How far you go in life is determined by what you choose to believe. How far you go in life is based on a few different things like work, favor, bunch of different things make up somebody becoming successful and going extremely far in life. But the foundational piece of every great achievement is based on what the achiever chose to believe. So anybody that's done great exploits, anybody that's done great things in life, a common denominator in each and every single one of them is that they believe in that outcome, or they believe in the result, the future, more than they believe in their past state, their past situation, or even their current state for that matter. Because how far you go in life is going to be based on what you choose to believe. And emphasis on the word choose. Choice is so important because one of the greatest gifts that God gave us was the ability to choose, the ability to decide something. Is called volition, free will. So each and every single one of us has the ability to choose. And it says in scripture that God is not a respecter of persons, meaning the same wind can blow on anybody. He's not a respecter of person, but he is a respecter of choice. Right? It's not love if it's not choice. So we have the ability to choose what we believe about our situation, what we believe about ourselves, what we believe about our future. So we have a choice in that. So the first question I would like to pose to you tonight is what do you believe and why do you believe it? What are your philosophies and why are they your philosophies? Why do you think the way that you think? Why do you believe the way in which you believe? Because beliefs are so important. Everything in life boils down to how you choose to believe. So why do you think you believe the way that you believe? Just put it in the chat for me. Let's get a little bit of interaction really quick. Why do you believe what you believe today? Somebody let me know in the chat. Why do you believe what you believe? Where do your beliefs come from? Let's see what we got. Experiences. Boom. It's a really good one. Somebody else talk to me. Why do we believe what we believe? Subconscious programming, experience in the past. Yep, yep, yep. What you were taught. Yep, yep, yep. So all of that is correct. Our beliefs come from four different factors. Our environment controls what we believe. Our associations, the people that we hang around, control or play a part in what we believe. The information that we receive on a repetitive basis, that plays a part in why we believe what we believe. And the experiences plays a part in what we believe. The more you experience something, the more that you start to believe it. So our beliefs are born based on our environment, our association, the information that we receive, and the experiences that we ultimately have. So beliefs are not self-made. Does that make sense? Beliefs aren't self-made. The way in which you believe is it wasn't born just because you believe this. You either adapted to this belief or you adopted this belief based on your environment, the people that you've hung around, the information that you've been receiving, and the experiences that you've been having. So everything boils down to belief, and that is how our belief is created. So we have the ability, the choice. We can make the decision to decide what we choose to believe about our life because how far we go in life is based on what we choose to believe about ourselves. So we believe our beliefs come from, again, our environment, our associations, the information that we receive, and the experiences that we have. That's where our beliefs come from. And we have the ability to decide what we choose to believe about ourselves, our situation, and our lives. Everything in our life boils down to our beliefs. What if I told you that something untrue can affect you as if it were true? Would you believe me if I told you that something that's untrue, not true at all, can affect you as if it were true, and that a lie that you entertain can become the lid for your life. Because again, a lot of things that we start to believe is because we've heard them over time. And it doesn't have to be true, but because we've heard it, it reaffirms this belief about a certain situation. For an example, how many people have heard the fact or the statement being made that you're blind as a bat, or somebody is blind as a bat, like bats are blind? How many people have heard that before? We've all heard that before, like you're blind as a bat. Where does that come from? Because bats actually see 3 times better than human beings. So, and it's not that, oh, bats can't see in daylight. That's not true either. Bats actually can see in daylight, and they see 3 times better than human beings. So, where does the thought or the statement come from that somebody's blind as a bat? Or you remember when you was a kid and maybe it was summertime and your parents or your family member or somebody said you can't get into the pool right after you eat because it's gonna make you sick? That's not true either. That's not true. You don't get sick or you don't throw up just because you got in the pool after you ate. That is not true. But because we have heard this stuff so much over time, we start to accept them as if they are true, even though they are not true. And I wonder how many other statements that we have accepted in our lives that are not true, but they affect them as if they are true because we choose to believe it. Are you tracking with me? Let me repeat the question because maybe the pool analogy or something made you not pay attention to what I was putting down. There are things that are affecting our lives today, or that could be affecting our lives today, that are not true, but because we choose to believe it, they affect us as if it were true. And here's the thing about your mindset: your mind will adopt whatever belief you choose to accept. Your mind will adopt whatever belief you choose to accept, and then your mind will find supporting evidence to affirm that belief. So your mind will adopt whatever belief you choose to be true, whatever thing you think to be true, your mind will accept that and adopt that belief. And then your mind will do something cool like this: it will go seek out evidence to support that which you believe. So if you adopt the belief that you're not a people person, then your mind will start to seek out information that validates the fact that you're not a people person. You remember the time you had this conversation and it went left? You remember the time you had this experience with this person and it went left? So whatever you choose to accept or adopt, your mindset will go find the supporting evidence to support that belief. This is why you have to choose what you choose to believe and choose what you choose to think about, because it's your beliefs that determine your thinking anyway. Your beliefs are what determine your thinking. So the way in which you think is based on how you believe, not the thoughts that you have, because thoughts come from, your 5 senses. Every time you see something, it invokes a thought. When you hear something, it invokes a thought. When you taste something, it invokes a thought. When you smell something, it invokes a thought. When you touch something, it invokes a thought. So thoughts can come from all over the place. Thoughts can come from God, thoughts can come from the enemy. So it's not so much the thoughts, it's the thinking. So beliefs determine how you think. Your thinking determines how you feel. Your feelings determine how you act. How you act determines the results that you get. Now, watch this. The results that you get reinforce core beliefs. So, beliefs determine how we think. Our thinking determines how we feel. How we feel determines the actions that we take. The action that we take determines our results, and those results that we get over time reinforce the core beliefs, because the results are the evidence. And our mind will seek out evidence to support whatever belief that we have chosen to adopt. So everything that you do and say is based on your beliefs. How do I have my beliefs? Well, my beliefs come from the people that I hang around, the environment that I hang around people in, the environments that I'm in, the information that I receive on a repetitive basis, and the associations that I have. All of this plays a part in how I believe. The experiences that I have play a part in how I believe. And this is so important and so paramount to your future because your beliefs determine your thinking. I can't think right if I don't believe right. The way that I feel is determined by how I think. So last week we talked about how do you get yourself to do something that you don't feel like doing? Well, you have to change how you think about it. How do you change how you think about it? You tell yourself a better story because the story should create some type of feeling. And that feeling is what makes you get up and go do the thing. And when you do the thing, you get this result. And this result becomes evidence for your core beliefs. So if you want to change the results in your life, you must first change the beliefs in your life. You must first change the philosophy. Are you tracking with me? Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Let me know in the chat. Turn me up, turn me up, turn me up, turn me up. So, how far you go in life is based on what you choose to believe about your situation, what you choose to believe about you. How far you go in life is based on your belief system. Well, my belief system is created by the environment that I'm in, the association that I have, the information that I receive, and the experiences that I have. And over time, these beliefs they get established and they become core beliefs. And if these core beliefs are incorrect and how I view my situation, how I believe about my situation is wrong, then the results that I get won't be right either. So I have to be very careful about letting a lie become a lid for my life and also allowing a lie to hold me hostage. I wonder how many lies are currently holding you hostage right now as we're sitting here having this discussion. Are there any lies holding you hostage? Is there a lie that you tell yourself over and over and over that's not true, but it's affecting you as if it were true simply because you started to believe that it is true and it's not true? Think about it for a second. Is there something affecting you right now that's not true, but you believe that it is true? So because you believe that it is true, it affects you as if it were true, but it's not true. It may be a fact because facts and truth are not the same. See, a fact is dynamic. A belief is also dynamic, meaning that it can change. But truth will always remain truth. So there could be facts in life that are true, but that doesn't mean that they're truth. Does that make sense? Because what's true and what's truth are different. See, it's true and it's a fact that I'm sitting here right now. But truth is absolute. Truth does not change. Truth is not dynamic. It just is what it is. It's truth. Like 2 plus 2 is 4. That's truth. It cannot change. Right? So I have to become one and begin to believe the right things about me, the right things about God. And this gives me a different level of thinking, changing how I feel, changing my actions, changing my results, and ultimately changing my core beliefs because how far I go in life is based on what I choose to believe, what I choose to believe. So, quick story. When I was in college at the University of Tennessee, this was 2013, I tore my leg up pretty bad. I had a torn calf muscle, grade 3 calf tear that should have required surgery. And along with this injury came what the doctors described to be a blood clot. And that night, when I go into the training room to get some treatment for my leg, because I thought it was just a cramp. And so I asked the trainer to put this Normatec on my leg. So Normatec is a compression sleeve that you can put on different body parts that squeeze the pressure, like it's super, super tight. And so I asked the trainer to put this Normatec on my leg. The trainer says, no, I'm gonna give you an ice bag. Gives me an ice bag, sends me back to my dorm room. Wake up at like 4 in the morning, leg is just going ape. It's insane, the pain that was rushing through my leg. I couldn't even stand up. I couldn't keep my legs straight. It was pretty bad. It was swollen. It was like a cantaloupe was in my leg. Not even exaggerating. It was bad. So I go to the training room next morning, and the trainer says, "Oh wow, this is bad. We should go to the hospital." So I go to the hospital. I get all these tests run on my leg, and about maybe an hour or 30 minutes after I get the initial test done, the Indian doctor comes back into the doctor's office and he says in this Indian accent, he says, "Son, you're very lucky. You're very blessed." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "If the trainer would have put the Normatec on your leg last night, you would have died immediately. Not, we can save you, not, let's get him to the hospital. No, if the trainer makes the choice, if the trainer makes the decision to put the Normatec on my leg, the blood clot that was in my leg breaks off, travels to my heart or travels to my like lungs or whatever, and it stops up everything. And I die within seconds on the table. And I only went in there to get treatment for my leg." Now, why did I tell you that? Because I'm so green at the time. I'm so young and immature, and I just want to play football. My next question to the trainer is, when can I get back on the field? I don't even hear the fact that I could have died on the table. That doesn't register to me at 23 years old. All I'm thinking about is, okay, I'm not dead. I got to go practice so I can go to the NFL. I got to provide for my family. So the trainer says, "Man, listen, you're going to be out for 365 days, meaning you can't play football. You can't have any contact with anybody for 365 days because I got to put you on blood thinner pills. And when I put you on blood thinner pills, it's going to dissolve the blood clot, but it's also going to make your blood really thin, hence the term blood thinners. So any contact, physicality can cause more clotting or something like that because the blood is so thin. So it's very unsafe for me to play." And so I looked at the gentleman, the doctor, with a straight face, and I said, "Yeah, I see the blood clot there, but I don't really believe I have a blood clot in my leg. I believe that this is just a grade 3 calf tear, and once the swelling go down in my leg, if that is a blood clot, it's just gonna go away, and I don't need to take these blood thinner pills." He doesn't hear none of that. He recommends the blood thinner pills to me. I don't take the pills. The coaches are trying to get me to take the pills. My mom drives from Columbus, Georgia to Knoxville, Tennessee, a 4.5 hour drive, 5 hour drive to talk me into taking these pills. But I never believed in my heart of hearts that I had a real blood clot and the blood clot was going to keep me down. And so this belief that I had made my language start to line up with that belief because I start to think in a certain way. My mouth began to communicate in a certain way. And I never accepted the facts of the doctor's reports. My belief was in another arena. So what should have taken 365 days to heal in totality, meaning blood clot gone, calf tear. Remember, the calf tear required surgery. It's the worst way you can tear a calf muscle. What should have took a full year of healing only took 6 weeks. It went from 365 days to 6 weeks. And when I go back to the training room to tell them, "Yo, I think we should go back to the doctor's office to get some more tests done," they look at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, "Bro, my leg feels fine. It's not swollen anymore. Let's just go get this test done." They take me back to get the test done. The Indian doctor, he couldn't believe it. This can't be right. I've never seen a blood clot dissolve this quickly. It had only been 6 weeks. I've never seen it before this because of how big it was. Dissolves in 6 weeks. He believes his machine is not accurate. So he sends me from Knoxville, Tennessee to Atlanta, Georgia to get more tests done. And that test comes back, says the same exact thing. No blood clot, you're cleared to play. Why am I telling you the story? My belief in this idea, this reality that a blood clot was not my reality, my belief in that caused my actions to line up in a certain way. It caused me to speak in a certain way. Me believing that and me speaking that is what made the trainers agree to take me to get more tests done. They didn't just say, "Let's go get more tests done." It was me believing in me speaking. Even though there is a clear golf ball size blood clot in my leg that all five of us in that office could visually see. We all saw it. It wasn't like they're the only ones that, and I just didn't see it. No, I saw it too. But my belief was in a different place. And my belief determined how I thought about the situation, my thinking. The thinking determined how I felt about my situation. My feelings determined my actions, how I spoke, how I walked around the treatment facility, how I told everybody I was coming back. And then the results came. And this result reinforced this belief that believing actually works. So belief is a hell of a drug. And if you're going to get high on anything, belief should be it. Because belief will create the facts. Belief creates the facts. Because belief first creates the feeling, which creates everything else, and then the fact shows up. So if I want to change my reality, I have to change how I'm believing. But it's two important beliefs that you must have in alignment. It's a lot of them, but there's two core ones that you must have in alignment. And the first one is this: what you choose to believe about God. What you choose to believe about God. Remember, choose. Everybody has the ability to choose. So we have to choose to believe the right things about God, because incorrect concepts and incorrect beliefs about God, the Father, affect people more than they actually know. And the reason why people have incorrect concepts and incorrect beliefs about God is based on the environment that they learned God in, the people that taught God to them, how they interpret the information that they read about God, and the experiences that they have or have not had with God. See how everything just go back to what we've been talking about? So incorrect beliefs about God affect people more than they actually know. And wrong beliefs about God will bring about wrong results. So how do I have the correct concepts and the correct understanding and the correct knowledge? Well, belief grows through continuous learning, continuous information. So in order for me to have the correct view of God, there must be a continuous knowledge of God. He said that he wants the knowledge of him, the knowledge of God, to cover the earth. Why does he want the knowledge of him to cover the earth? Because when you have a higher knowledge of God, you can have a higher belief level, which ultimately takes you to a higher realm of faith. So faith and belief are not the same thing. They're different. You understand that, correct? Faith and belief, we use them interchangeably, but they're not the same. Faith doesn't require you to see anything. Believing actually does. Believing is based on the things that are around you. Faith doesn't require sight in no regards. And this is why faith points to a person, the Father, because it doesn't require physical things. But you need belief for faith to actually work. Faith follows belief. So, how do I grow my belief in God? So I can have the correct view about God. Well, that grows through the knowledge of God. And as I grow, as I get a continuous knowledge of God, that takes me to a higher degree of belief, which then sends me to a higher realm of faith where I can bring about any results that's for me. So your impression on who God is determines how you receive from him. Your impression of who you believe God to be determines how you receive from him. So, do you believe God to be sovereign? What does that mean? Sovereign means to be supreme over all of creation. Do you believe him to be the source of all? The source of all, not just the source of good, but the source of all, the source of the bad as well. He may not create the bad, but he allows the bad. See, the enemy can't just do anything in your life freely. Everything has to be approved by God because the devil is his tool. Please pay attention. The devil, Satan, is his tool. And God uses this tool to tighten you. You understand what I'm saying? He uses the tool to tighten you and to make you better. So he may not um, create it, the bad, but he allows it. He looks at it and says, I like that because I like what it does to them. I like that it makes them seek. I like that it makes them want to learn. I like that it makes them like um have a level of humility. I don't like it for them, but I like it for them, if that makes any sense. So, do you believe that he's the source of all? Because when you believe that he's the source of all, even the bad things that happen in your life, you can still find gratitude in it because you recognize that, man, God, he allowed this to happen. For some reason, he believes that this is working for me because it says that all things work together for the good. All things. So, do you believe this to be true about God? Because here's the thing. Again, your mind will adopt whatever mindset or belief you choose. You choose. So I have to have the correct concept, the correct beliefs about God, because my impression of who I believe him to be determines how I receive from him. Do I look at him as a king? Uh-huh. And if he's the king of kings, that means I'm a king. Women, you're queens, but for the sake of the topic here, the analogy here, just go with me. If he's the king of kings, who is he king over? He's the king of kings. He's king over kings. Well, who are the kings that he's kings over? He's king over us. So if I'm a king, he's a king. I don't have to. There shouldn't be anything in me that has to beg him for anything. I shouldn't have to beg him for anything. My son, they don't have to necessarily beg me for anything. Now, they choose to beg, but they don't have to beg. Now, why do my children choose to beg me for stuff? Because they're immature. That's the only reason. The only reason why a child would beg their parents for something is because they're immature. Wait a minute. Are you the only reason a child would beg the parents for something after the parents has already promised the thing? The only reason why they beg for it or act as if it's not theirs is because they're immature. Now, my question is, do you find yourself begging for things or acting like something is not yours when it's already been promised to you out of your immaturity? Well, I ain't immature, I'm grown. Well, sometimes you can be spiritually immature. What makes somebody spiritually immature? They have an incorrect concept about who they believe the Father to be. So they beg for things and keep asking for things that he has already given. There is no lack in the kingdom. Are you tracking? There's no lack in the kingdom. So if I believe my father to be a king and he's made me a king over a kingdom assignment, There's nothing that I should want nor beg for. The only thing I have to do is ask for and believe that I have received it by faith, and I align my action, I align my word with that which I already believe. My mind then finds evidence to support that belief. And then over time, that belief becomes fact. That belief becomes what's true in my life at that time. So I have to see God correct. I have to see God right. If I don't see God right, I can't get life right. If I don't see God right, I can't get me right. So the first important belief is what you choose to believe about God, but the second important belief is what you choose to believe about yourself. Because how far you go in life is based on what you choose to believe about you. Yeah. So how far you go in life is based on what you choose to believe about you. But I can't believe about me correctly if I don't believe about God correctly. Because if I believe that he's sovereign and supreme over all creation, I believe that he's the source of all. I believe that he is the ultimate creator. I then can believe, or then I should be in a place where I can believe that I'm just dope at the highest level possible because I'm created in his image. So I believe him to be this, and he created me in this image that I believe to be just the perfect, the supreme, ultimate. I'm created in that image. I can now believe accurately about myself. But I have to choose to believe that. I have to choose to believe that which is truth. It's truth that you're created in the image in the likeness of God. Truth does not change. There's nothing that can change that. So even if somebody identifies themselves as an atheist, that may be factual as how they identify themselves. But the truth is, you're still created in the image of God. You're still created in his likeness, which gives you a level of power. It gives you a level of um, authority. But can you imagine somebody having access to something, but not knowing they have access to it, so they can't use it? Imagine that. Imagine having access to something, but you're ignorant to the access that you have, so you don't utilize your access properly. Or imagine having a level of power and authority, but you're ignorant to the level of power and authority that you have, so you don't operate in life that way. And it goes back to the first component, what you choose to believe about God. Because if I believe about God correctly, then I can believe about myself correctly. But many people can't believe these things because there are lies holding them hostage and they don't know it. There are things holding people hostage in their mind that don't allow them to believe what they should believe. And so they consistently believe things that align with their past selves. And what you have to start doing is believing in your future self more than you believe in your past self. But it's hard to believe in your future self if you haven't identified and gotten a description or depiction of what your future self looks like. So that's your homework. That's your homework. You should be identifying, what does me 18 months look like from now? What does me 5 years look like from now? What does me 10 years look like from now? And 10 years, listen, to think 10 years ahead requires so much thinking power. To think a year ahead requires so much thought power. And this is why many people don't do it. uh my man that wrote the book Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Waddles, he says that thinking is the hardest work that most people will never do. Thinking is hard.
And two
Hard
decisions
work.
that
It's hard work. Thinking is hard work. So to think about something and focus on that thought without having other thoughts come into your mind to distract you from that thought is so hard because you have to be intentional about taking your mind back to that thought. So to sit and craft what your life looks like, what you look like a year from now, that takes intention. And it's intentionality that changes your reality. So you have to be intentional about crafting what does future me look like? And then you begin to work backwards and act as if you were that person today. So there's a kid named Jimmy Donaldson. Jimmy Donaldson, years ago, made these YouTube videos, right? And in the YouTube videos, he made these videos to himself that will post a year later, 5 years later, 8 years later, 10 years later. It was like gaps of years in between when each video would post automatically on YouTube. Whether he hit post or not, they were set to publish on a certain day, right? And so he wrote the first video, or he made the first video. Let's say it was a dated a year from the day that he wrote it. And he said, a year from now, I'm going to have X amount of subscribers. Let's say the number was 10,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'm going to post this many videos a day. I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. He posts the video. A year later, the video actually goes live on YouTube. And he went back to go look at the video. And everything that he had said in the video, he had did like more than doubled it. And then the one that he made for 5 years, same thing. The one that he made for like 7 years, same thing. I think the most subscribers that he wrote that he would have is 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Today, he is the most subscribed channel on YouTube. You may know him as Mr. Beast, but his mom named him Jimmy Donaldson. But Mr. Beast, he made these videos about his future self and published them. Do you know how much guts it takes to do that? Just think about it. To sit here and make a video, hey, this is my future self a year from now, or hey, past you, or however you made the video. It's on YouTube, you can still watch it. All right. It's called Future Me Videos. But he makes these videos, he's talking about what he's gonna be a year from today. And he also said what he was gonna do to make sure that this is a reality and set it to auto posts. So when that time came, he had to have this authentic moment with himself and say, man, I either did what I said I was going to do or I didn't. And I think his biggest goal was 1 million subscribers on YouTube. Today, I think he has over 450 million subscribers on YouTube. So you see what I mean? Your belief will create the facts because your belief creates the function. Your belief will create the facts because your belief creates the function. So he believed in this future me video. He believed in the work that was required to bring it. He did the work. This belief created the fact because the fact created the function. And the function was only created because of the feeling. The feeling, it's everything. But the feeling only comes from your belief. But many people don't feel the way in which they should feel because they have the wrong beliefs. So everything that you do and say in life is going to be based on what you choose to believe. So you have to get to a place where you're believing in your future self more than you believe in your past self. And it's easy to believe in your past self because you have evidence. There's so much evidence of your past self, past ways of thinking, past habits. There's evidence to support this. But you have to believe in the future more than you believe in that. Because when you believe in this, evidence starts to support that. And the evidence that supports this, the more this evidence shows itself, the more you start to believe in this thing, in yourself. So where I go in life is based on what I choose to believe. And you don't want to limit your life because you have limited belief. Limited belief will never bring you the results that you want. You have to continuously get into a place where you're always upgrading and editing your beliefs. Your beliefs about things can change. Your beliefs about how you believe about yourself can change. Your beliefs, how you believe about God, they can all change. So you have to consistently edit them, upgrade them. Because as I continuously upgrade and edit the way in which I believe, my identity follows that. Because what you do and say consistently proves what you believe, but what you do and say is based on your identity. So it's not until you shift in the belief department, shift in the identity department, where you can then shift your results. Results don't change just because you say my results finna change. Your life doesn't change just because you say my life finna change. You have to get yourself unstuck. Your life can't get out of what it's in until your mindset gets out of what it's in. How do I get my mindset out of the place that it's in? Well, I need new evidence. I need to seek the correct evidence, because bad evidence and good evidence are both going to present itself. It's like a court case. Young Thug just crossed my mind. When Young Thug was sitting in trial, there was evidence that supported the prosecution, and there was evidence that supported the defendants. Because evidence will always support both sides, positive and negative. But which one people choose to believe the most, this is what's going to determine the outcome. So there's negative evidence that's in your life for one mindset that's clearly there, and there's positive evidence as well. Which one you choose to believe and put your thought and your energy in the most is going to determine the outcome that you get. Because how far you go in life is based on what you choose to believe. And you have the ability to choose what you believe and upgrade and edit the way in which you believe. Because how I believe is going to determine how I think. How I think determines how I feel. How I feel determines how I act, how I speak, my habits. So I can't change my habits and my actions without first changing my thought process. But I can't change my thought process, how I think, until I change my beliefs. And when I change all of that, my actions then begin to change. Now I got new results. And these results that I get reaffirm my core beliefs. And there's also 4 core beliefs that you got to eliminate. I got them on my phone. Let me make sure I run these down to you. So it's 4 beliefs that you got to eliminate, and these are, I would call them the core 4. Um, so the first one is the fear of failure. These are the core limiting beliefs that limit people from living a limitless life. The first one is the fear of failure. The fear of failing stops more people than anything, because the fear of failure keeps people from even trying to do something. It keeps people from picking it up again. They experienced failure before, they experienced uh, maybe some sort of trauma before, and it stops them from doing it again. So this is a belief that has to be eliminated so that you can live a limitless life. So I have to eliminate the fear of failure. How would you act? How would you respond if you knew that failure was not a reality? Like failure was not real, because failure is not real. Failure is only feedback. Failure is just feedback. That's all it is. It's not real. It's feedback. It gives you insights. So I have to eliminate the fear of failure to live a limitless life. The next one is I have to eliminate self-doubts. Self-doubt. I heard a story a long time ago, and it talks about how this guy went to visit hell. And when he gets down to hell, the enemy is showing him all of the things that he uses to get people to live in hell while they're on earth. So he's showing alcoholism, addiction, cigarettes, porn addictions, all of these different things. And then the guy that's down in hell with him, he sees this box and he's looking at this box and he's like, man, what's that box over there? Got all the lights showing. It looks important. And so the devil says, this is my most important tool that I use to get people to live in hell. And so now the guy's intrigued. He said, man, you just showed me sex addictions, drug addictions, alcohol addictions, cigarette addictions. You showing me all this stuff, but you sell there's more stuff than that. It's something more important than that. And he said, yeah, opens the box and it's this wedge. And the guy was like, man, this is just a wedge. It looks pretty normal. And he said, no, 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 no. This is the wedge of self-doubt. If I can just get this wedge in the back of somebody's head, I can keep driving this wedge of self-doubt in over time through failure and trauma and through bad experiences where I never have to worry about them chasing after the thing God has for them. The self-doubt will stop them. So if I can just drive the wedge of self-doubt in their mind, I don't have to do anything. I can just sit back and just watch them self-destruct their own life. All because of self-doubt. He says this was his most important tool. So self-doubt, if I want to live a limitless life, I have to eliminate the limit of self-doubt. And then the next one is the fear of rejection. The fear of rejection. Fear of rejection stops so many people in business. Like, what do my family think? What if nobody buys it? What if I put it out there and nothing happens? What if they don't want my product? What if they don't want my service? The fear of rejection. And again, rejection is not, it's not real as we think, as we make it out to be. Sometimes people they don't value correctly simply because they're not viewing you correctly. So it has nothing to do with your value, but it has everything to do with their view. Yeah. So if I want to live a limitless life, I have to eliminate the lid of rejection because rejection is not real. Rejection has nothing to do with me, it has everything to do with the person, it has everything to do with their viewpoint, not my value. Is this making sense? And then the fourth one is, I think that this one is the one. I think this one is the foundational, the core reason of each of these other ones. So the reason why somebody has a fear of failure, the reason why somebody lives a life of self-doubt, the reason why somebody fears rejection is because they simply believe that they're not enough. Hmm, they're not enough. I'm not good enough to do that. I'm not gifted enough to do that. I don't have this. I don't have that. Like they believe internally that they're not good enough. Now, a lot of people won't say this out of their mouth because they got too much pride to say it, but internally, they believe it. And that belief keeps them from stepping out on faith and not chasing after what God has already given them, but getting in position to receive what God has already given you. Because you don't have to chase after something that's already been provided. You just have to get yourself in position to receive it. But many people can't even get in position to receive it and take the steps to receive it because internally they have this incorrect belief that they're not good enough. But why would somebody have this incorrect belief that they're not good enough? Because they have a negative viewpoint or a negative belief about themselves. Why do they have a negative belief about themselves? because they have a negative belief about God. Because if I believe that God is the ultimate creator and he doesn't create anything to fail, if I believe that, I also recognize that I am handiwork of the Father, crafted in his image. That alone makes me a good enough. That's my unique advantage. That's my unique advantage over every situation in life. But I can't walk in that and accept that to be true if I'm accepting so many other lies as if they were true, and these lies are holding me hostage. They got me bound by the feet, so I can't step and get in position for all of the things that God has already given me. So if I want to advance my life and live a limitless life, I have to choose what I believe about myself. And the beliefs that I choose, they must be accurate, because I can't live the life that I desire if I'm believing wrong about me, if I'm believing wrong about the power and the authority and the gifts that I have. I can't allow things that are untrue to affect me as if they were. I have to recognize what's true, and I also have to recognize what are facts. Because if you get them twisted, your life gonna be twisted. So there could be factual evidence that says I'm not good enough. There could be evidence around you that speaks to the fact that you're not good. Just what it is. Sometimes you're just not good right now. And that's okay. But that doesn't mean that you have to stay that way, because it's just a fact. That doesn't mean that it's truth. Remember, facts can change. Truth does not change. Truth is dynamic. So the truth of the matter is, I'm created in the image and likeness of God. He created me to create stuff. He made me to make stuff. That's the truth. But the fact may be, I may not be that good right now. That may be the fact. But that fact that I'm not good right now can change. Facts can change based on time. Truth is not limited to time. So the fact may be that you're not good today. But the truth today is that you're creating in the image and likeness of God. He created you to create stuff. He made you to make stuff. So the fact and the truth, that's what they are today. But the fact could be 6 months from now that you are good. You do have the skill now. That fact has changed. But you know what still the truth is? You're creating in the image and likeness of God. He created you to make stuff, create stuff, and he made you to make stuff. That never changed. But the fact that you weren't good 6 months ago and the fact that you are good today, it changed. But the truth, that remained. So you have to believe truth because there's evidence around that supports that truth. I have to believe in that. I have to believe in the future me more than I believe in the past me. And when I believe in the future me more, I do the work that that person does today. I act as if I was that person today, even though I'm not that person. Then I create a system around making this person a reality today, because we don't rise to the level of our goals and our beliefs or our aspirations, but we fall to the level of our systems. So we put a system together to make this person a reality. Yeah, system. So I act as if I was the person, the me, a year from now. So real life example, I'm deep in my like trading bag as of lately, super deep in it. But how I got deep in it was changing my thought process about me when it came to trading. I had to like literally look into the future and say, man, how does the trader that I see a year from now, how do they trade? How do they analyze the market? What's their discipline like? What's their risk management like? Do they over leverage? Are they super greedy? No, they're not. So I start acting as if I was that person today. And then The me that I see a year from now, trading wise, that person becomes a reality way faster because I changed how I saw me, not the trading, but how I saw me. It works in everything. And you have to act as if you were that person before that person shows up. So some of you guys may know I do have a little experience with acting. I have a TV show right now. It's on Tubi. This is a shameless plug. You should go check it out. It's called Born Again. It's 7 episodes. I star in every single episode, and we're about to start recording season 2 in June or July. So season 2 coming sometime, I think early 2026. Anyway, why am I telling you that? Because I had to play a role, had to act as if somebody that's it's not me at all. But I got so engaged with the scripts. I got so connected to my character. His name is Paul Reese. I got so connected to him, right? How did I get connected to him? How did I how did I act on TV as a criminal who found his way to God through some weird events? How did I act as this person? Remember my lines, bring emotion, and all of this stuff on camera. And I think I did an okay job, right? I wrote my lines down so much. I wrote down every episode, all of my dialogue, I wrote it down over and over and over again. And then I recorded myself saying the lines. And I would play these lines back every day for months. So when it came time to actually get on camera, I had already like planted this person, Paul, in me, and I could act as if I was him effortlessly. And I did it for a TV show. But what if you could do that for your life, though? Hmm? What if you could do that for your life? What if you could craft a character 6 months from now, a year from now, write down what they look like, how they act, their discipline level, their character, where they live, where they shop, what they eat, the people that they hang around? What if you could write that down? And then you take it a step further. And then what if you start reading it out loud over and over and over again? And then you take it a step further and then you record yourself reading it. And then you take it a step further and you start listening to it every day. What do you think happens to your action? Action. You look as if you are Paul Reese. You look as if you are that person when it's time for action because you've been rehearsing. You've been getting in the emotional state of being connected to your future self. And then next thing you know, the future you has showed up on the scene because evidence will always support whatever mindset you choose to adopt. And how far you go in life is based on what you choose to believe about you. I hope this blessed you on this Monday. Cause that's all I got. That's all I got. So man, that was good. So as we do each and every single Monday, I'm gonna open it up real quick